The alarm on Dr. Jiwoo's wrist device beeped 3 times. She looked up from her microscope, rubbing her tired eyes. Another late night at the Earth Orbital Research Station. The blue-green planet hung below the observation window. Beautiful and serene. Just 5 more minutes, she muttered, adjusting the settings to examine the ancient bone fragment. At 32, Jiwoo was the youngest lead researcher in xenoarchaeology, studying how humans evolved alongside Earth's other species. The lab door slid open with a soft hiss. Station Director Minho stood in the doorway, his normally calm face tight with worry. "Dr. Jiwoo, you need to come with me right now," he said. "We have visitors." Visitors? At this hour? She checked the time. 2:45 a.m. station time. "Not human visitors," Minho whispered. Jiwoo's heart jumped. In the 5 years since humans had made first contact with the Galactic Council, alien visits remained rare and always planned months in advance. She followed Minho through the curved hallways to the station's main meeting room. When the doors opened, Jiwoo froze. 7 aliens sat around the conference table, more non-humans than she had ever seen in one place. A tall figure with silvery skin and large eyes stood as they entered. "Dr. Jiwoo, thank you for coming. I am Hana of the 7th Star System." Her voice had an odd musical quality, translated through the small device on her chest. Jiwoo recognized her species, the Nalari, known for their advanced medical science. But the others were unfamiliar. A small creature with rough, bark-like skin, a pair of identical beings with 4 arms each, and others even stranger. "This is highly unusual," Director Minho said stiffly. "The Council typically gives notice." "We apologize for the unexpected arrival," said Hana, "but our need is urgent." Another alien, with features that reminded Jiwoo of an earth owl, pushed a small device to the center of the table. It projected a hologram showing what looked like a cell breaking apart. "What am I looking at?" Jiwoo asked. "The end of galactic civilization," said the owl-like alien. "I am Sunho. My people have studied genetics for 10,000 years, and now we face a problem we cannot solve." Hana nodded. "All 12 advanced species in the Galactic Council share this crisis. Our genomes are failing." Jiwoo looked at the hologram more closely. "Those cells are dying." "Yes," said Sunho. "For millennia, we improved our species through genetic engineering. We removed disease, extended lifespans, enhanced intelligence, but we went too far." Hana continued. "We engineered out the chaos of natural evolution. Now a new pathogen spreads through the galaxy, targeting our perfect, predictable genomes." Director Minho frowned. "Why come to us? Human genetic science is far behind yours." The bark-skinned alien spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "That is precisely why we are here. Your primitive nature may be your greatest strength." Jiwoo bristled at the word primitive, but kept listening. Hana pulled up new images showing DNA strands. "Our research suggests that ancient human DNA contains natural defense, mechanisms our species have lost. You evolved on a planet with millions of pathogens, adapting naturally over time. We need samples of your oldest human DNA," said Sunho, "from before your people began genetic treatments, from your ancestors who survived by adaptation, not technology." Jiwoo's mind raced. "You want to study prehistoric human remains?" "Some exist in permafrost regions and protected caves, preserved for thousands of years." "Yes," Hana said. "The Council offers an exchange. Help us collect these samples, and we will share all medical knowledge we gain." "Your species would benefit greatly." Jiwoo glanced at Director Minho, who looked overwhelmed. She turned back to the aliens. "Why me, specifically?" "Your work on evolutionary patterns is impressive," Sunho said. "You understand how species change and adapt." Jiwoo felt a mixture of pride and suspicion. Something felt off about this sudden visit. "The Council has authorized an immediate expedition," Hana said. "We would like you to lead the human side of the research team." Director Minho cleared his throat. "Dr. Jiwoo would need approval from Earth government officials. This is highly irregular." "We have already secured all necessary permissions," interrupted one of the 4-armed beings. It slid a tablet across the table showing signatures from the United Earth Council. Jiwoo studied the document. Everything appeared legitimate, but rushed. Why such urgency? When would this expedition begin? She asked. Tomorrow, Hana replied. Our ship is already docking with your station. Jiwoo's eyes widened. That's impossible. I need time to prepare, to gather equipment. We have brought everything required, Sunho said. Time is critical. More worlds fall ill each day. As they talked, Jiwoo noticed one alien staying silent at the end of the table. Unlike the others who seemed eager and worried, this one watched her with cold, calculating eyes. When those eyes met hers, Jiwoo felt a chill. The alien slightly tilted its head, as if assessing her value. She suddenly understood. They weren't telling her everything. I'll need access to all your research on this pathogen, Jiwoo said firmly, and I choose my own human team members. The aliens exchanged glances. Finally, Hana nodded. Agreed. But we depart in 12 hours. The alien ship hummed softly as it cut through the Siberian sky. Inside, Dr. Jiwoo adjusted her thermal suit and checked her equipment one last time. Outside the view screen, endless white stretched in all directions. Perfect. Permafrost conditions for preserving ancient DNA. We will land in 3 minutes, announced Taizhou, the owl-like geneticist who had become her unofficial guide among the aliens. Unlike the others, who kept their distance from the humans, Taizhou seemed genuinely interested in Earth and its people. The scanners show promising sights below, he added, pointing to glowing dots on the screen. Bones preserved for 20,000 years. Jiwoo nodded. This was their third site in 5 days. The first two, an underwater cave system in Mexico and a dry cave in Ethiopia, had yielded good samples, but the alien scientists kept pushing for more. What makes human DNA so special? Jiwoo asked Taizhou as they prepared to land. She had asked this question several times in different ways, hoping for a complete answer. Taizhou's large eyes blinked slowly. Your species evolved naturally. Ours did not for the last 50,000 years. We shaped ourselves too perfectly. And that's bad. Perfect patterns are predictable. Predictable targets are easily destroyed. He lowered his voice. The pathogen attacking our world seems designed to exploit our engineered perfection. The ship touched down with barely a bump. The expedition team, 3 humans including Jiwoo and 7 aliens, filed out into the biting cold. Temperature is -38 degrees, said Minji, Jiwoo's assistant. The young geologist shivered despite her thermal suit. The ground is solid permafrost. Do-yun, the silent alien who had watched Jiwoo so coldly at their first meeting, now led the team. He consulted a scanning device. This way, 50 meters north. The team trudged through knee-deep snow. Jiwoo noticed that Do-yun always kept the humans in front, as if studying them. At the dig site, they deployed the alien excavation device, a field that gently separated layers of ice and soil with more precision than any human tool. 3 hours. Later, they uncovered their prize, a nearly complete human skeleton curled in a fetal position. Incredible preservation, whispered Minji. Probably a young man, early 20s. Taizhou scanned the remains. The DNA is largely intact. This will be very useful. As the team collected samples, the weather worsened. Wind howled across the plain, driving snow into stinging sheets. We should return to the ship, Jiwoo shouted over the rising storm. This is getting dangerous. Do-yun ignored her, continuing. His careful extraction of bone fragments. Suddenly a blinding flash split the sky. The alien equipment sparked and went dead. Electromagnetic surge, called Taizhou, from the storm. Without the protective field, the bitter cold hit them full force. Their communication devices failed simultaneously. Back to the ship, ordered Do-yun. Immediately. But in the whiteout conditions, even alien technology couldn't guide them. The team huddled together, blinded by snow. We need shelter now, Jiwoo said, thinking quickly. We can't see the ship, but we can make a snow cave. She turned to Minji and Junho, the other human scientist. Help me dig. The aliens watched in confusion as the humans frantically dug into a snowdrift, hollowing out a space just big enough for the team. Get in, Jiwoo ordered when they finished. The aliens hesitated until Taizhou ducked inside. The others followed. Inside their cramped shelter, body heat slowly raised the temperature to bearable levels. Jiwoo showed them how to take turns blocking the entrance with their packs to keep out wind while allowing airflow. "How did you know to do this?" Taejo asked, genuine admiration in his voice. "Basic survival training," Jiwoo replied. "All field scientists learn it. Not technology, but knowledge passed down," Taejo said thoughtfully. "Your species remembers its past struggles." Hours passed. Do-hyun sat silently, clutching the case. 12 bone samples. When he thought no one was watching, he extracted a small device from his suit and scanned one fragment, studying the results with intense interest. Jiwoo pretended not to notice, but caught Taejo observing Do-hyun too, his expression troubled. When the storm finally passed, they emerged to find their ship half buried in snow. Amazingly, it still functioned. As they took off, Jiwoo sat beside Taejo. "Your people have forgotten how to survive without technology, haven't they?" she asked quietly. Taejo's feathered head, dipped in what she had learned, was a sign of agreement. "That is precisely why we need what your ancestors carried in their blood." Later, alone in her cabin, Jiwoo accessed the ship's database, searching for information about the pathogen threatening alien worlds. Most files were restricted, but one opened, a medical report showing infection patterns. The pathogen didn't just kill, it rewrote alien DNA, inserting new sequences. And as she studied the insertion patterns, a chill ran down her spine. They looked deliberate, almost like a message. Someone had engineered this disease. This was no natural outbreak. The orbital research platform gleamed in the artificial light as their ship docked. After 3 weeks of collecting samples from Earth's most remote locations, Dr. Jiwoo was eager to begin the real work, analyzing the ancient DNA they had gathered. "All team members report to medical screening," announced Do-hyun as they disembarked. "Standard procedure after field missions." Jiwoo noticed the human scientists were directed to a separate screening area from the aliens. When she tried to follow Taejo, a guard blocked her path. "Human protocols are different," the guard said flatly. In the medical bay, Jiwoo rolled up her sleeve for a blood sample. The alien doctor, a species she hadn't seen before, collected more blood than seemed necessary. "Is all this testing really required?" she asked. "We must ensure no contamination," the doctor replied without looking at her. "The samples will be destroyed after analysis." Something in the doctor's tone made Jiwoo uneasy. Later, as she passed the lab where the blood was being processed, she glimpsed technicians carefully preserving the human blood samples, not destroying them. That evening, Jiwoo tried to access the main laboratory where the ancient DNA analysis had begun. Her security badge, which had worked throughout the expedition, was suddenly denied. "Dr. Jiwoo," said a voice behind her. She turned to find Taejo. "I was looking for you." "Why can't I enter the lab?" she demanded. Taejo's feathered head drooped slightly. "New security protocols. Do-hyun has limited access." "I'm the human lead on this project," Jiwoo said angrily. "How can I be locked out?" "Come," Taejo said, looking around nervously. "Not here." He led her to a small observation room overlooking Earth. Once inside, he activated a device that emitted a soft hum. "This blocks listening technology," he explained. "What I tell you could cost me my life." Jiwoo's anger turned to fear. "What's happening, Taejo?" "The Council is divided over humanity," he said. "Some, like Hana and myself, believe in cooperation. Others, like Do-hyun, see humans as resources to be harvested." Harvested? Jiwoo felt sick. The pathogen affecting our worlds is worse than we admitted. It doesn't just kill, it destroys consciousness itself. Our greatest minds believe human DNA contains not just disease resistance, but the key to a form of consciousness our species have lost. Taejo's device beeped. He checked it, and paled. "They're coming. Listen quickly. Do-hyun has authorized living human subjects for testing." "What does that mean?" Jiwoo asked, though she feared she already knew. "They will take humans, prisoners first, then others, and extract neural tissue while they are alive. They believe the consciousness factor is most accessible in living." "Brains!" Horror washed over Jiwoo. "We have to stop them!" "I've transmitted evidence to your private data storage," Taejo said urgently. "But we must move now. Communications with Earth will be cut within hours." As if confirming his words, an alarm blared throughout the station. A computerized voice announced, Attention all personnel. Station entering security lockdown. All outbound communications suspended. Taejo gripped Jiwoo's arm. We need to get you off this station. A transport leaves for Earth in 20 minutes for supply delivery. They hurried through corridors suddenly filled with confused station staff. At a junction, they nearly collided with Minji, Jiwoo's assistant. Dr. Jiwoo, the aliens are... I know, Jiwoo interrupted. We're leaving. Now. Too late, said a deep voice. Doyun stood at the end of the hallway with 4 guards. Taejo, you disappoint me. Humans have corrupted your judgment. You lied to the Council, Taejo replied. This violates all our agreements with Earth. Dohyun's face showed no emotion. Agreements change when survival is at stake. The human DNA contains what we need, neural pathways for true innovation and adaptation. Our species can no longer evolve naturally. We need their genetic template. And? Killing humans is your solution? Jiwoo asked, horrified. A regrettable necessity, Doyun said. Guard, take them. As the guards advanced, station lights suddenly flickered and died. Emergency lighting cast eerie red shadows down the corridor. This way. Taejo pulled Jiwoo and Minji into a maintenance shaft. They crawled through narrow passages, hearing guards, searching behind them. Finally, they reached a small docking bay where a transport ship waited. This will take you to Earth, Taejo said, working quickly to override the launch controls. I've downloaded all the research data. What they found, what they plan. Come with us, Jiwoo urged. Taejo shook his head. I must return to my world, warn those who would oppose this. Not all of us want to survive at your expense. The ship's engines hummed to life. Through the viewport, Jiwoo saw more guard ships approaching the station. Humanity is not just genetic material, Taejo said, as the docking clamps released. You have something we lost long ago, the chaos of true creativity. That is what they fear. That is what they want. The small transport ship broke through Earth's atmosphere at dawn, flames licking its sides as Jiwoo fought to control their descent. Neither she nor Minji were trained pilots, but the ship's emergency systems helped guide them toward the Korean peninsula. Mayday, Mayday, Jiwoo called into the communication system. This is Dr. Jiwoo from Orbital Station 6. We have emergency information regarding alien hostilities. Only static answered. As the ship plummeted, warning lights flashed across the control panel. They're jamming our signals, Minji said, gripping her seat. No one can hear us. They crash-landed in a rice field outside Busan, the ship's automatic. Systems cushioning the worst of the impact. Smoke billowed from the engines as they stumbled out. A farmer on a tractor watched wide-eyed as the 2 women emerged from the alien craft. Are you from space? He asked, keeping his distance. We're human, Jiwoo assured him. But we need to reach the Global Defense Council immediately. Using the farmer's phone, they called every emergency number they knew. Each time, they were transferred, put on hold, or simply dismissed. Another alien conspiracy theory snorted, one official before hanging up. By nightfall, military vehicles surrounded the crashed ship, and Jiwoo and Minji were taken to a secure facility for questioning. Men in suits spent hours asking the same questions, clearly doubting their story. You expect us to believe advanced aliens want to harvest human brains? One interrogator asked mockingly. Jiwoo slammed her hand on the table. Check the data. Everything we've told you is backed up by files from their own research. After 3 days of detention, an unlikely ally appeared. Dr. Junho, the 3rd human scientist from their expedition, whom they had lost track of during the chaos, walked into the room where they were being held. Junho, Minji cried. How did you escape? I didn't, he said grimly. They let me go as a messenger. He looked exhausted, with dark circles under his eyes. I was allowed to witness their first extraction procedure. It was inhuman. He showed them marks on his wrists where he had been restrained. They wanted me to tell Earth's leaders what happens to those who resist, but instead, I came to help you. Junho had brought someone with him, Professor Sunwoo, a renowned neurobiologist with high-level government connections. Unlike the interrogators, she had taken time to review their data. The alien research is fascinating, Professor Sunwoo said. They've identified what they call quantum neural pathways in human brains, connections that allow intuitive leaps and creative thinking. Their species lost these through excessive genetic engineering. Can you help us convince the authorities? Jiwoo asked. I already have, Sunwoo replied. But we face two problems. First, many leaders don't believe the threat. Second, those who do are preparing for conventional war, which we cannot win against their technology. Professor Sunwoo led them to her laboratory at the National Science Institute. There, a team of scientists from around the world had gathered, secretly, alerted by colleagues who believed their warning. We need a different kind of resistance, said Dr. Yunho, a geneticist from the team. They want our brains because they can't solve problems like we can. So let's solve this problem in a human way, with creativity they can't match. For 2 weeks, they worked tirelessly while alien ships positioned themselves around Earth. News. Reports called them observation vessels and diplomatic envoys, but Jiwoo knew better. The extraction facilities were being built, disguised as medical centers offering advanced treatments. Then Jiwoo had a breakthrough. The pathogen they're fighting. I've analyzed its structure, she told the team. It's not natural. Someone engineered it to target their genetic modifications. Who would do that, Minji asked. I don't know, Jiwoo admitted, but I think I can modify it, create a version that affects them more severely, but that only we can cure. Professor Sunwoo's eyes widened. A bargaining chip? Days later, when 3 alien ships landed near major cities and began setting up their medical facilities, Jiwoo's team was ready. Using a modified alien transmitter from their crashed ship, they sent a message directly to Do-yun and the Galactic Council. We know what you're planning, Jiwoo's message began. We also know you're desperate, but harvesting us isn't your only option. She explained their discovery, that human creativity had led to a solution that alien logic could not find. We've developed both an enhanced version of your pathogen and its cure, she continued. We'll share both with you, but only if you recognize humanity as equals, not resources. To prove our claims, we've released the enhanced pathogen in one of your ships. You have 6 hours before symptoms begin. It was a desperate gamble. If the aliens called their bluff or simply decided to attack, Earth had no defense. 5 days. After Jiwoo's message, an enormous alien ship descended through Earth's clouds. Unlike the military vessels surrounding the planet, this one gleamed golden in the sunlight. The legendary council chamber itself, where the 12 ruling species of the galaxy made their most important decisions. It landed in an open field outside Seoul, where world leaders had gathered alongside Jiwoo's team of scientists. Military forces kept their distance, weapons ready but not aimed directly at the ship. Jiwoo stood at the front of the human delegation, trying to hide her fear. Beside her, Professor Sunwoo clutched a secure case containing their bargaining chip, vials, of both the enhanced pathogen and its cure. Do you think they believed us? Minji whispered. They're here, Jiwoo replied. That's what matters. A wide door opened in the ship's side. 12 aliens emerged, representatives of each major galactic species. Jiwoo recognized Do-hyun among them, his face still expressionless. But leading the group was a familiar figure, Taizhou, now wearing the formal robes of a council elder. Dr. Jiwoo, Taizhou called, his translator carrying his voice across the field. Your message has forced the first emergency council session on an undeveloped world in 50,000 years. Jiwoo stepped forward. We prefer the term developing, and we have evidence your people were planning to harvest humans for their neural tissue. Murmurs spread through the human delegation behind her. Despite her warnings, many had still doubted the aliens' true intentions. Some among us advocated that approach, Taizhou admitted, but your actions have complicated matters. The pathogen we released on your ship, Jiwoo said. Did it work? Do-yun stepped forward. 27 of our finest scientists are now infected. They have perhaps 2 days before neural breakdown begins. And you verified we have the cure? Our scans confirm it, Taizhou said. Though we still don't understand how you developed it so quickly. Jiwoo smiled slightly. That's exactly the point. You don't understand because you can't think the way we do. She nodded to Professor Sunwoo, who activated a large screen showing brain scans. This is a human brain solving a complex problem, Jiwoo explained. Notice these neural pathways that light up seemingly at random? Your species engineered these. out thinking they were inefficient. The alien council members studied the images carefully. But they're not random, Zhou continued. They're quantum connections, allowing intuitive leaps your logical minds can't make. That's how we created both a deadlier pathogen and its cure in days while your civilizations have struggled for years. An older alien with crystalline skin spoke up. You claim these neural patterns come from your unaltered DNA, from natural evolution? Yes, Zhou said. What you see as chaos in our genetics is actually sophisticated adaptation mechanisms. You abandoned natural evolution too soon, engineering yourselves into perfect, predictable beings. She walked closer to the council members. Your genetic modifications gave you logic, efficiency, and incredibly long lives. But they cost you creativity, intuition, and adaptability, the very things you need to survive this pathogen. Do-hyun's eyes narrowed. So you admit we need what you have? Yes, Zhou said firmly, but not by harvesting our brains. We offer a better solution, a true alliance. We'll share our genetic secrets willingly, help you understand how our minds work. In exchange, you share your technology and accept Earth as equals in the Galactic Council. The aliens conferred among themselves in their own languages. Finally, Taizhou turned back to Zhou. We must test your claims. Bring your cure to our scientists. Inside the alien ship, Zhou and Professor Sunwoo administered their cure to the infected aliens. Within hours, readings showed the pathogen retreating. In a private moment, Taizhou approached Zhou. You never actually released the enhanced pathogen on our ship, did you? He asked quietly. Zhou met his gaze. We infected a sample of alien tissue in our lab and sent you the readings. We would never actually use biological weapons. Taizhou made the soft trilling sound she had learned was laughter. So you bluffed the Galactic Council into landing on Earth. Another example of human creativity, she replied with a small smile. 3 days later, the full council reconvened. The cured scientists testified that human neural patterns had been key to developing the treatment. We propose a new galactic charter, announced the council leader. Earth will join as a protected developing world, with full rights to its own evolution. Do-hyun opposed the decision, but was overruled. As the meeting ended, he approached Zhou. You may have won today, he said coldly, but some truths remain. Your species is chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous. Yes, Zhou agreed simply. That's our greatest strength. Your people engineered out the messy parts of your nature, seeking perfection, but perfect systems can't adapt to the unexpected. She looked out the viewport at Earth shining blue below. We've only just begun to show you what human imperfection can accomplish.